please. All right then. Done. All right. Great. Um. Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining us. Thank you so much for taking our time. If this is your very first time here, we're really super glad to have you here. And if you're this is not your first time, all the same, we're super glad to have you here. Thank you for taking our time. And then I want to say a big thank you. I want to start off by saying a very big thank you to everyone who participated with us last year. I mean, this is our first call. I mean, and then the first inspirational session for this year. It's been a journey. Textile is going to a year plus, and then I mean, we're super glad that we're all still here, and then those that started with us, and even the people that are still with us, and those that have joined us, I want to say a very big thank you. To the agenda of the day, so let me just move on to the agenda of the day. We're just going to start. I mean, I'm going to just start by saying a very big thank you once again, like I said, to all of our tech mentors, to all of our sponsors, to all of the speakers that were with us last year. Thank you so much. Thank you for the amazing jobs you guys did. Thank you so much for the dedication, the commitment, and we're super glad that you are the real story of Textiler. We are not the story. You are the real story of Textiler because of the commitment, because of everything that you guys are doing. So like I said, to the agenda, we're going to be having our first speaker immediately after. Maybe I just take us through what, again, we say we're doing in Textile, especially if this is your very first time. And permit me, if I am too fast for you, just throw your hands up and let me know so that I can slow down, please. We're going to have a first speaker immediately after I finish speaking, and then the second speaker in the name of Edie. If I do not know how to pronounce your name, please forgive me, but I'll try as much as possible. And then we'll take a question and answer after the session. Then I think Foyin will help me with the pronunciation there. Then after that, we'll have just an intro to the tech deep dive and registration, and then going on with a closing remark. So a little bit about us. Like I said, if this is the very first time that you're here with us, please, Textile is actually founded sometime in May 30, 2020. Is a community that is focused on supporting women really who desire growth in technology. And technology in this case, we're not saying technology is being specific only to Microsoft. We try as much as possible to be diverse. We try as much as possible to be inclusive at the same time. We try as much as possible to embrace just not Microsoft, because we want to give opportunities for everyone. Yes, Microsoft is a call of everything that we do, but as much as possible, we see um, the communication or integration, so to say, with a lot of these technologies. So you want to learn UI, UX. I mean, it's not basically a component under Microsoft, which gives the opportunity for you to learn that. So you want to learn things on product or digital marketing, we give you the opportunity for you to do that. So that's basically what Textile is all about. We're focused to support women who desire growth in technology. So we see ourselves as ladies with a very important superpower. Think of us like Diana, but don't think of me on a stick flying. And so when I say I have superpower, I'm not talking about flying on a stick. I'm talking about having that of a super girl power, so to say. So look at us in Textile as one who has ability to use that, our technology skills to solve real life problems for everyone. And like we say, our vision is to bring in more women into technology. And then we thought of the only way we can do that is to empower them with giving them the right tech skills through training and mentorship. And that's exactly why today we will be discussing not only on the inspirational session, we'll be going to introduce also our very first cohort for 2022, our tech deep dive, which we will talk about in a bit. that's basically what Techstella is all about. And then talking about our meetup days, every Saturday we have the Techstella Tech Deep Dive, which is going to start first week in February, because that's what we're going to start that very soon. Then every last Saturday, just like you see today, like if this is your very first time of joining us, I'm going to emphasize it. We have what is called the Techstella Inspirational Session. And then you can actually follow us on our social medias. We have the LinkedIn, we have Twitter, WhatsApp, and YouTube. Just make sure you just follow us, and wherever you follow us, especially on the YouTube, subscribe to our channel so you can get notification on everything that we talk about. Now, a little bit of housekeeping rule before we start. My sister has already started the session, so forgive us. We'll need to let you know that the session will be recorded and will be made available for future viewing. Permits me that Foyin has already done that. Please, when you come in, kindly mute your microphone when you're not talking. Do not, so that it doesn't distract the speaker. And then as much as possible, we'll ask you to pen down your question until the Q&A session, so that whatever you have, please do. You can also make use of the chat window to pen down your questions ahead of time, or you can also give us, one of the things also we're going to request you to do is that, yes, as much as possible, as you pen down your questions, make sure that those questions, even if you don't get access to it, please call out, because at the end of the day, if we miss it out, please call out so that we can attend to it. Then follow us on all our social medias, and just which we talked about. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, we're going to be sharing
carry off your word. Your word declare out of my belly.
Sorry, we just talked about that. Please mute your microphone when you are not okay. I hope we all remember that. All right. Okay. So again, please do me a favor. When you are not the one, like I said, when you're not the one speaking, please do not mute your microphone. Please mute your microphone. Lastly, we're going to be sharing a form, a feedback form. Please tell us how well we're doing, and then thank you all. Without wasting much of our time, I'm just going to leave the room, give the room now to the very first speaker. I'm going to be introduced Nihinlola Adeyemi, and who is going to be taking us on our topic, Yes, I Can. If I can think it, I can do it. Thank you, guys. Nili, please take over.
Thank you very much, Jumoke and Foyin. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's nice to be here with you. Jumoke, are you going to present from your end, or you want me to present? Hello?
Your mic is on mute, MJ.
Okay, just go ahead and present from your end. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now.
All right, that's fine.
Okay.
Please let me know if you can see my screen. I'd like to say a big thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on this platform as one of the first speakers. And I'd like to say hello to all the beautiful ladies in the house. I know there are also a couple of guys in the house as well. My name is Nihinlola Adeyemi. It's okay, you call me Lola. And a lot of people call me Ellie, you know, I mean, it's just a short form. I'm very excited and glad to be here today. Like I said, can we go to the first part, please? Thank you. Like Jumoke had said, yes, I can. If I can think it, I can do it. So I'll quickly do a rundown of who Lola is. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. So this is who I am. I'm a self-driven enterprise architect. I'm a product manager. I'm a Scrum Master. I'm an analyst. Started my career with service delivery, and I've had over 20 years of quality work experience in tech. And of course, my experience has been in financial institutions all around the country. I reside in Lagos, Nigeria at the moment. And in addition to these, I have competencies in IT governance. I'm passionate about Agile Scrum. I'm a strategist. I love to plan, to transform. I love to, put an impact on processes and on people as well. I'm a database administrator. I'm a business continuity manager as well. I'm very strong in IT, and of course, I'm a business analyst. And you're wondering, all this from you? I have 15 years of progressive management experience. I mean, it's been from being an head of IT from one financial institution to another, and it's been very interesting. I've deployed several applications that I've lost count at the moment. And I've spent significant time as well ensuring that projects are done in the right way, with the right resources, the right cost, and the right, at the right time as well. I got my first degree from the University of Uyo, computer science. I went further to get a second degree. Then I also went to number 2 business school in the world, which is China Europe International Business School. I'm currently reading for my PhD at GIBS. GIBS is the business school of the University of Victoria. I'm married and I have 3 wonderful children as well. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So we're getting into the business of today. Today we're going to talk about my journey into tech, the challenges in tech. The good thing about this is I've been in tech for over 2 decades, so you can imagine how it was then. I mean, it's a lot easier to be in tech right now. I'm going to talk about tech space and women. I'm going to talk about the low representation of women in tech. I'm going to talk about how you negotiate your skills to the leadership role, because I mean, you can't just be in tech and you don't want to be at the top. And of course, I'm going to give tips on how to encourage you and not give up, because tech for women, you can actually give up, trust me. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So this is about me. I say to myself, make sure you pick the right people. I mean, you show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. If you pick the right set of people, you're sure you can literally see where you're going to in future. You can literally say to yourself, this is who I'm going to be. But if you pick the wrong set of people, you definitely see and know that you can't go too far. So that's very important. Choose your friends. Don't choose too many friends. I mean, it's worked for me and I'm speaking from my experience. Sometimes you get discouraged, when you're choosing your school, you want to go to this particular school, especially when you're not the one paying the school fees at that moment. So for me, I didn't have a choice than to go to the school I went to. And at some point I picked my pieces, and I said to myself, you know what? I need to move on. I need to pick my pieces. I need to put them together. I need to focus and say, this is who I want to be. Now, like I said earlier, started, my first degree at University of Uyo. I read computer science. And afterwards, I said to myself, I'm not going to stop here. I love to learn. I love knowledge. I love to know what's around me. I love when I engage with people on any profession or any subject. I should be able to contribute. I don't want to sit down and listen alone. I want to be a part of the conversation. So I had to encourage myself. When I started my career, there were very few women in tech. I recall I was the only female in my department, the IT department of one of the financial institutions I was working then. And each time I tried to complain about the process, my boss goes, what are you doing in a man's world? Why didn't you read marketing? What are you doing in tech? And those were the days where you have your little UPS by your system. So you don't have a central UPS. So if a UPS is down on a particular floor, and I'm probably waiting at the front of the lift to, go into the lift and maybe go and return replace the UPS with another one. My boss says, you're actually waiting. Do you realize you're wasting the user's time? So I have to climb the stairs to go and drop the UPS and everything, just so much discouragement just to make me feel, you know what, this is not the right place to be. I mean, it was same when I was in school as well, where very few women in our class, and the men, you know how they will muscle their way and just want to make you feel you're not good enough. What are you doing in here? But we'll go an extra mile to read and study and just to prove yourself that, look, I can do it. I'm as human as you are. So I got a lot of, what are you doing in a male's profession? What are you doing here? I mean, you should read accounting. You should read human resources. I mean, that's what you should be doing, and not IT. So we had so much stereotype for the few of us that were in that started tech in 2 decades ago. It was so tough, so strong. A lot of people changed career. A lot of people went into marketing and all that. The work ethics was so bad for women then, and you just wonder, am I in the right place? Did I make the right choice? Am I doing the right thing? But all these coupled together, I just said to myself, you know what, I can do it. Yes, I can. I mean, that has always been my strong word, and I've always said to myself, I can do it. So for me, I took another step to say, you know what, I'm going to show them that I'm the best that's ever been. So I took a second degree while I was working. It was tough, I must tell you. I took a second degree, and I started. Before I took the second degree, I recall when I was writing my Microsoft exams, when I wrote the last exam that got me my MCP, I just had a baby, my first child, and she was like barely a month old. I went to the exam to write my last paper, putting her outside in the Moses basket at the door of the exam. And I told the invigilator, please, can you keep an eye on my daughter while I'm writing the exam? Unfortunately for me, just about less than 30 minutes before the exam was over, she started crying. The crying was so much that there were other students writing the exams. The invigilator had to bring her in. So while I was writing the exams, I was breastfeeding my daughter. So at some point, I said to myself, Lola, it's either you make it now or you don't make it. So I blocked my system and I concentrated on my exams. I wasn't thinking about the baby. I wasn't thinking about myself. I was just trying to remember all the things I've read, and how I need to pass this exam, because I needed to show them in the office that, you know what, I just got certified, I'm MCP. And it was, as soon as I clicked on that button to say complete, I saw congratulations. I was super excited. At that moment, I forgot I had a baby on my lap, and I was very excited. I mean, just to show you how difficult it was at that time. But I was super excited. I got home, I got to the office, I couldn't wait to tell everybody, and those are the kind of sacrifice you make as a woman in tech. For a guy, he doesn't even care if there's a child or there's a wife or something. He has his time to read, he has his time to hang out. But there was so much I needed to prove to the world that, look, I can do it. Because I'm a woman and I'm in tech doesn't mean I can't do it. So, of course, the pregnancy stages were challenging as well for the children, but I could still read. I read into the night, and I said to myself, you can do it. So you had the work pressure, you had the family pressure, and of course, the social life was close to nothing, because 24 hours was not even enough. So you had to look for how you can juggle everything together and make sure that, everyone has a piece of you. Unfortunately, something has to suffer. So my social life suffered for that. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is my journey. I'd wanted to be a teacher. I told my dad I want to be a teacher, and he was like, no, how can you go to the university and be a teacher? And okay, anyway, what do you want to teach? I said, mathematics. I want to read mathematics. And he was like, you're joking. What are you going to do with mathematics? They don't pay teachers well. No, you can't do mathematics. So I said, okay, my second choice is engineering, because I want to work. So in this part of Africa, there's, the electric people, they call them NEPA in those days. And I see the way they climb the pole, the electric pole, and they disconnect people's lights and they put your light back, and it was so interesting. I was like, that's the kind of job I want to do. I mean, that was like engineering. That's for men. What are you doing in this profession? No, 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 no. You have to do computer science. I was like, computer what? No, I don't want to do. It was like, look, if I'm paying your school fees, you have to do computer science. So I got into computer science. And of course, I was like, okay, this certificate is just for you, Daddy. I'm not interested, you know. So I didn't put in my best. I mean, I could have come out with a first class, but sometimes I just like, I don't like this thing. I'm just doing this for my dad, you know. But at some point, I said to myself, just do it and get the certificate, you know, because the pressure was so much. You see the men, you have like almost like 100 guys in the class and maybe like less than 5 girls in the class, and you have to struggle and you have to prove yourself. And so it was a lot trying to, you know, show that you can do it. So it got to a stage after I graduated. It was I was super excited because I started looking at tech from another angle. I started looking tech like, okay, this is a solution provider, because I love to give solutions. I love to help. So I started falling in love with tech. I would see the gap, I would prefer a solution, and the problem is solved. And the problem is solved faster and easier. And I'm like, oh, that's it, you know. So each project I deploy, I became more and more in love with the process, with the tech and everything. And I always say to myself, I will come back to this world to get into tech again. I mean, tech rules the world. There's no life outside tech. You know, that's what I tell people. What are the lessons I've learned? I've learned that you need to discover yourself early. If I discovered myself early, I'd probably be, I mean, I'm grateful to God where I am right now, but I probably will be better. But because I didn't fall in love with this career early enough. Then I also have learned that you should follow your passion. At some point, you're so involved in, this is what I want to do. I want to help people with tech. I want to do this, you know, but you also have your inner passion on how you want to do things, who you want to help. But you're not bringing out that passion because you can see lots of solutions that you need to deploy at work, lots of things that you need to do, you know. So it's all about, especially if you're a giver, it's all about, I want to make everybody happy, but I'm not thinking about myself. So at some point, yes, I didn't believe in myself. I just felt so many times I said to myself, I'm going to give up, you know, but I started believing in myself, saying to myself, if this person can do it, yes, I can do it. And I mean, you don't give up on yourself. You have to love yourself. It's self-love. So like I said, the mistakes I made early was, you know, not loving my career path early. I just felt, you know, no, I wanted something else, not knowing that this is actually what I'm supposed to do. And like I said earlier, your dreams comes first. I mean, I'm an advocate of loyalty. Be loyal to your employer and all that. But if you have your dream, don't kill your dream. You have to bring it out. You have to say to yourself, this is what I want to do. And with tech, how can I help? How can I fill in the space? You know, then networking, like I said earlier, my social life suffered because I wanted to prove myself. So I didn't start networking in time. And that's one thing I'll do better when I come back to this world, if there's anything like that, you know. Of course, I'll come back tech. So, I mean, my social life, I need to do more networking. I mean, I've started now, but I'm going to start early when I come back. Then I've done, I mean, like I said, I've deployed several projects. So those are my wins. Getting into the leadership role, I've been head of IT for various organizations, financial organizations, for over 15 years. I mean, that's more than good enough for me. You know, a lot of multitasking. Like I said, you're married, you're nursing a child, you're reading for your professional exams, you're deploying projects. I mean, nobody cares, you know, if you're on maternity leave or whatever. They just want the project to be done. You know, and of course, my professional qualifications, I'm very proud of myself, because what I do is I say, look, I'd rather, you know, cut down on things I'm passionate about, put that money aside. And, you know, IT exams are pretty expensive, especially if you live in this part of the world that I live in, when you have to change your naira to dollars. But you know, I said to myself, I'm going to sacrifice a lot. I'm going to deny myself, you know, all the good things of life just to show that, you know, just to pay for this exam and be an expert on this job. And of course, providing solutions. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so what are the challenges we've seen, you know, from women's perspective? I hope you can see the slides. I hope it's big enough. If you look at the first slide, the first icon, I beg your pardon, that talks about women's representation in big tech. I mean, just have a look. So you have total workforce for Amazon, for Facebook, for Apple, for Google, and for Microsoft. Just look at the total workforce, the blue part, and look at the leadership job, and also look at the tech jobs. That's where women are represented. That's, I mean, we don't even have up to 50%, for crying out loud. And from my research, we have more women on the surface of this earth than men. So what's happening to the women? In the next 10 years, I mean, the jobs that will sell are tech jobs. So where are we? What are we doing to get to that 50%? And 50% is not even good enough. We're talking 70%. I mean, you're first a human being before you're a male or a female. So why don't we get there? What is actually stopping us? If you look at the slide, the second slide by the, you know, down, yeah, that one, thank you. I mean, it's sad to see that non-tech jobs are even higher. And you say you need tech to drive your business. So I mean, I'll expect it to be the other way around. I'll expect to have more tech jobs because you need the tech to drive your business. And if you look at the tech jobs that we have, I look at the total workforce as well. And the representation of women is so pretty low. The very smart women, I mean, if you can multitask, I think women are the only gender that can multitask. So if you can multitask in other areas, I mean, obviously you're a very smart person. So that's more reason why we should have more women in tech. If you look at the one on the right-hand side, it says women lost twice as many tech jobs through voluntary termination, layoff, and all that. And because, you know, sometimes you just feel, oh, this is so overwhelming. I have the home front, I have a job, you know, I have to make an impression on people that I can do this job. And we suffer for that. But I need to encourage everyone that, look, if someone like Ellie can do it, anybody can do it. How can we have 28.8% of women technologies in the tech force? 28.8 is too low. These are 2021 research results. So it's not like I'm bringing them out from 90s or 70s. These are 2021. And we're saying 28.8. Where are we? What's going on? And the reason why we have this is because of the culture. Especially in Africa, we have very strong culture where you feel that women are, you know, they are not, I'm being mindful of my words now. Women are not meant to rule, you know. You don't see that support system from the family, from the workplace, because you're a woman. You know, the next thing you hear is, what are you doing here? You know, you're supposed to be taking care of the family. And of course, you see a lot of dedication from women, but some just feel, look, you know what? I think I'm just going to dedicate my life to something else than being in this tech, because you just have that impression that tech is difficult. Tech is the most easiest thing you can ever think of, because you're providing a solution. So once you provide a solution, it works. So you know that this is working. This is the best. This is the accurate thing to do because it's working. So that's why it's easy. And there's a glass ceiling that says, oh, because you're a woman, you can't be, you know, above a manager and all the stuff, you know. So by the time you climb up to become a manager, you're almost close to your retirement and you're wondering what's going on. And we don't have enough mentorship. Thanks to textilers, we need platforms like this to tell our female that, look, You can do it. Where do you need my support? I can encourage you to do this. I can teach you, programming. I can teach you cyber security. I can teach you this. I can teach you anything you want to learn. And, we just need that. And of course, there are organizational contexts that affect women. So because you're a woman, you're in tech, you go on maternity leave, which is about 3 months in some part of the world. By the time you come back, and most likely you're even working while you're on maternity leave. So by the time you come back and your peer at the office, who is a male, probably went for 1 month's leave that year, and you went for 3 months. Trust me, when the promotion comes, all the hard work you've done is not even considered, because they just say, oh, you've been away for 3 months, you shouldn't get promoted at the same time with your colleague who is a guy. So organizational context also plays a lot of role in this. And of course, religion, this part of the world that we come from, especially in the northern parts, they're so strong with religion. And when it comes to women, it's just like, just stay at home and take care of the children. I mean, you've worked for 5 years, you've had that experience. I just need you to take care of the women. So self-belief as well. People believe, oh, tech is so difficult, I can't do it. You can do it. Don't deny yourself. Reject the stereotypes. Say to yourself, you can do. You're first human. Always remember, you're first human before your gender. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so again, we're looking at tech and women. I mean, look at the percentage. 28.8, 29%, and the men, 71%. I mean, I'm looking at, to start with, we should be running at the power of 50-50%. So we need the women to come out and say, we can do it. It's so easy. I mean, there was a survey that was carried out, about 4,500 surveys, and these were the results of the survey. Some of them said during interviews, they just asked them, they addressed them like they're addressing the men, and how you can feel as a woman. Some say the questions they ask during interviews are very inappropriate. They probably be asking you questions about family and how you're going to, how you'll be able to handle the family and the children with your work. I mean, I'm here for this job, so you should talk to me about the job. Interview me on my competencies. Don't make me feel, oh, I have a family, so I should concentrate more on the family than the work I'm being interviewed for. And you have some places where they say, you know what, you're very good, but because you're a woman, we'll either want a man to be the head of IT or the CTO. So let's give you something lesser, and you find out that you have some inappropriate, what do I use? What do I use now? You have inappropriate ways that people talk to you in the office, and you feel so very uncomfortable. You see people making advances at you just because you're a woman, and they feel that's the only way they can help you get to the top. If you look down at the last icon there, you'll realize that there's still very little. I mean, we're still very far away. We're very far away when it comes to women in tech, women in leadership role. Who says we can't make this money? I mean, who says we don't have the brain to do what the men are doing? We can do this, and I need us to believe in ourselves. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is a low representation of women we have in tech, and I've said this over time, and I'm saying it again. So the first one, which is no clear paths forward, that actually happened to me. So I'm actually talking to you like someone that's been through it. I started as a DBA, that's a database administrator. I moved to a quality assurance person. I moved to projects. I moved to, so you just keep moving, IT governance now. So you keep moving directions, like trying to test the waters. One, there's no mentor, so you don't even know what direction you're going to. And the only mentor you probably find will be the male who will tell you, you know what, just go into sales, just start selling computers and software. I mean, that's good enough for you. So you just keep going round and round and round. So that's why most people get so discouraged and say, you know what, maybe this IT thing is not even for me. And there's of course limited budget because we're not earning as much as the men. Like I said, these exams are pretty expensive. So you want to write an exam that is $1,000 and your salary, the $1,000 is probably your salary for 3 months, and you're like struggling on how to get there and just prove yourself that you're not only good hands-on, you have the certificate to prove that you're good. Of course, the gender bias is there. Everywhere you go to, they just look at you like, a woman, are you sure you can do this job? Are you sure you can code? Database, I'm not sure I want to leave my DB with you. Do you know what you're doing? The lack of trust is so huge. And of course, the racial bias is there. The competitive culture is so obvious. They show it to you through body language. They say to you the ones that are bold, and they just make you feel very less who you are. And you can't get all this experience. You can't get the experience if you're not given the opportunity to. So most times they'd rather say, oh, we want a database administrator, but we want a guy, forgetting that even women are more careful when it comes to taking care of things. So they'll be careful when it comes to taking care of your data. So you get that, and you get so many other things that has limited women from even getting to the top in the career when it comes to tech. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so how do you negotiate your skills? Like told you, I've been head of IT for various financial institutions for a while. So how do you negotiate your skills to the top? You have to make sure you have a mentor. You can't run away from that. You have to have someone that can help you, talk to you, give you directions, shoulder you can cry on, because there are days and months that you just want to cry and talk to someone. So you need to learn and unlearn. I always tell people, tech is like medicine. There are various angles and areas you can dive into, but you need to learn. You need to be able to engage. You need to be able to understand. So you say to yourself, I'm going to research one thing about tech daily, even if it's going to be 15 minutes, 30 minutes, because there's so many things coming up every day and you don't want to be left out. So you need to learn and unlearn. Then how have you developed your skills? Are you putting your wants above your skills? Because what I do is I say to myself, I only concentrate on my needs. My wants can stay. I'd rather use the money for my wants for my education. So that's why I always ensure that I get into one training, learn something new, and move forward. Can we go to the next slide, please? So with this, you find out that when you're comfortable, or when you're there and you're very knowledgeable, you have the skills, you have all it takes, going to the top, getting to the top will be easy because people would look for you. People would reach out to you. On LinkedIn, I get offers, job offers, and I look at myself, I'm like, wow. Just because they've gone to my LinkedIn page to say, who is this? What skills has this person got? What products has this person developed? Or depends on what area you are. So it's very important for you to develop yourself. And once you concentrate and you put all your energy in developing yourself, you just find out that, climbing the ladder becomes a lot easier. It's just like a rope that helps you to just climb up, easily and faster. So I like to encourage everyone on this webinar to say that whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can be achieved. So a man here means a human being. Whatever you put your mind on, say to yourself, I can do it. I mean, it's just to read to understand, to get someone to help me when I need the help, and I can make it happen. I can do this. Look for a solution, look for a gap. Anywhere you go to, say to yourself, okay, so it takes X to get to Y. Is there a faster way I can make X get to Y? Is there a solution I can build in between to help get this process faster? And before you know it, you're building a solution for someone. You know, I mean, you don't have to build that solution if you don't have the capability. You can always talk to a couple of people to say, look, this is what I'm thinking. Can we build a solution? Can we do this? Can we do that? You know, then always tell yourself you can do it. I've said this over and over again. There's nothing difficult in this world. With tech, everything is possible. That's why I say, I can just tell me what it is, the solution will be provided. I look at a process and I see a gap in it, and I can easily think of how to fill that gap with that solution. Then challenge your present state. Say to yourself, I'm not good enough where I am. I need to go further. So you're competing against yourself. You're not competing against other people. And that's the greatest competition you can give yourself. Then don't ever give up. Anytime you feel like giving up, pick a friend. You know, I talked about choice of friends earlier. Just pick a friend that you can, work with, that can help you develop your skills and all that, or maybe a friend that can pray along with you. You just need someone to strengthen you at some point. Then run this race like, look, there's a gold medal I need to win. I need to continually run this race. And of course, you have to read and read and read and read and read. And you have to push yourself a little further. You have to push yourself a little further because you have a lot to prove. And you have to train your brain. I say to myself, the day I stop reading is probably the day I'm just going to start dying gradually, because I love to read and I'm passionate about knowledge. So you need to push yourself a little bit. It just makes you feel, it just makes you feel good, because you can engage in any area of any conversation. You can pick up a conversation, you can engage with people, you know what is going on around you. It just makes you feel very complete, and I'd just like to encourage everyone to please, take this, and with whatever you have inside of you, put it up together and say to yourself, yes, you can do this, and it's easy. Trust me, it's easy. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and I'm head of IT for a financial institution in Nigeria. So if I can combine that three together, and also a student, a PhD student, still writing professional exams, I'm not stopping. So if I can combine all this together, you can also do it. I mean, I've been through almost all the processes in life. So what's the process that is so difficult? I mean, you might say, oh, Lola, you don't understand, I don't have the money, but just save that money you want to use for your wants. And, before you know it, the money is almost like $200, $300, and you can always look for a training to take or an exam to take. Go on Coursera, come to Techstylers. There are free trainings coming up, and say to yourself, I'll keep this money and I'll ensure, I use it for my exams. So for me, I started with a training school, Training Heights, and it's been consistent because I was able to. I got good trainers from there that were able to develop me and help me in that mentorship and my career path. Because like I said, I was zigzag all over. I just wanted to know everything. You want to be a programmer, you want to be a database administrator, security person. So I was just all over. So you need to say to yourself, what's my passion? What do I want? Where do I find this? And this platform has given us, if this was there when I started my career, I'd probably be God knows where right now. But it wasn't free in my own days, we had to pay for it. We had to drop our wants, and we had to, use our wants to study. You know what I mean? So that's it from me here, and I'm looking forward to lots and lots of questions for today. I hope I've been able to encourage one or two people, and I hope my story has been very inspirational, and I look forward to the question and answers. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so much.
Neil.
Heidi.
Yeah, go ahead, sis.
No, I was just saying thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all of the experiences you shared. You know, I myself am personally inspired and challenged, when I heard, oh, you're head of IT, you still have your kids, your husband, and you're running a PhD. I'm like, okay. We need to keep pushing. We need to keep pushing. Thank you so much. I was just here taking notes on my OneNotes. You said a lot of things that was super useful. Thank you so much for your time. So the plan is to take questions and answers after Heidi's session. So please just stay with us. If you want to drop your questions in the chat box, you can. At the end, you can also unmute your mic and just ask your questions from Ellie or any of the other mentors on the call directly. All right, so I want to introduce our next speaker. Up next is Heidi. I think I'm right.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, thank you so much. I've known her for a long time. Like, we're both on Dynamics Con advisory team, and I see her on a couple of calls here and there. She's very fantastic. You know, those people that you just admire from a distance, and you're like, they're a fantastic person, and you just hope that one way or the other you get a personal connection with them. So I was really grateful when she said yes to our invite. Thank you so much for coming on today. All right, then, over to you.
Okay, I'm going to try really hard to blow through the Power Platform in 25 minutes. I'm going to try my best. And Lola, I feel like you set me up perfectly to talk about the Power Platform, because you were talking about find the gap in the process and fill it with a solution. And this is a solution that I use all the time to fill the gaps in the process. So I'm very excited to be here and to meet all of you. It's my first time on Textilers, so thank you. Can you guys all see my screen okay, just before I keep talking? Cool. All right.
Yes,
so hi, I'm Heidi Neuhauser. I have been working in Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform for 12 years. I started in Microsoft CRM for a long time before CRM became part of a Power Platform. I'm a mom, I'm a runner, I'm a vegetarian, I'm a wife. I love animals. I have too many. My husband won't let me get any more, but right now we have 4 cats, a dog, and a cockatiel, some of whom you will most likely see in the next 25 minutes. And I'm really involved in the Dynamics community. Yeah, you can see some of my cats and the dog here. The dog is a foster fail. We were fostering her, but she's adorable. So I am the chair of the Philadelphia chapter of Dynamics 365 and Power Platform User Group. I'll get you these slides later. I've got a lot of links in here. We're doing all of our meetings virtually, of course, so you can join us anytime. And I work for a Microsoft and Power Platform partner called Re-Enhanced with my husband, Nick, who's here on the call and in this picture here. And I'm a business applications MVP. So when Foyin asked me to talk about why the Power Platform and to kind of get people excited about the Power Platform, I thought I would do it by telling you a couple of stories. So these are 3 companies that I have worked with personally, either on the customer side or as a partner for implementation. So the first one I'm going to tell you about is a Fortune 100 company, very large company based in the United States. There were over 200 sales reps that organized themselves into 4 different national sales regions. Their sales reps did everything through pen and paper. I'm sure you've seen this before. So just one teeny tiny little thing that these salespeople did. Every single week, every individual salesperson had to build a weekly sales report, and then they had to send it to their manager. Then their managers had to cull those reports together and send it to their managers, and so on and so forth. This happens all the time in large companies. So just looking at the salesperson only, they're spending 2 hours every week at least creating a report. There's 200 sales reps, so that's a lot of wasted time. I had fun with math at the bottom to show you exactly how much time they were wasting. 20,800 hours in 1 year just doing manual report. They also had an ERP system completely separate from their CRM system, which means everything that they put in CRM was re-put into the ERP system. So there was a lot of cool stuff you could do with the Power Platform and the CRM platform before Power came out. So we transitioned everything from that pen and paper sales to CRM, to Dynamics 365, which is the Power Up on the Power Platform. And that alone gave them so much productivity time back, where they no longer had to generate all these manual reports, but they were done for them automatically. We also connected the ERP system with the CRM system. So from a productivity only standpoint, we were able to get the salespeople selling instead of doing all of this manual overhead. So I thought that was one really fun story and use case of Power Platform and how it can transition everything. So story number 2 is a medium-sized education company. They had an online learning portal, completely homegrown. It worked really well for them when they rolled it out. But like every company, you grow and you change, and things aren't as they initially were when you implemented it, which created unstable technology, a very unreliable user experience, and a heavy, heavy reliance on the developers who built it. So this is another case where the Power Platform was able to come in and recreate the entire experience, both on the back end and on the front end for the users. So another super happy customer with Power Platform technology. And I know I'm going through these fast. I'm just trying to keep up with them. Story number 3, this is my favorite one, is a financial services company. And this is one of our more recent stories. Their process was extremely manual. I'm talking, and I put it here, Excel spreadsheets that were saved locally on different people's computers and never rolled up into one single source of truth. It was horrible. I don't know how they made decisions in their organization. People were constantly getting duplicate information, and they weren't sure where somebody really was in the sales process, right? Like, wait, did we talk to them? Did we not talk to them? Let's spend 15 minutes meeting about this one person who everybody has on a different spreadsheet and find out what the last communication was. They also did a lot of communication through print letters. They still do, but they would manually type them out. I wrote Excel, I meant Word. So the manual letters were typed in Word, stored on a network drive in a very complicated hierarchy that nobody understood except the one person who built it. Also, to make it even more interesting, before COVID, 90% of their business was done in person. They specialized in retirement. So those are some people that might be less comfortable using technology, and they were very happy to go in person, sit with somebody, and figure everything out in person. So this was a complete transition of how they do their business. So we were able to give them Power Apps. We did Power Automate. I'm going to talk about all these things if they're new to you, and really transform the way that they do everything. Since COVID, their entire business runs on Microsoft Teams, which is embedded in a Power App, which has all kinds of automation through Power Automate. And all of that was able to be done with the Power Platform. So what is the Power Platform? If you haven't heard of it yet, it's a combination of Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, Power Virtual Agents. I am by no means an expert on all 4 of these things, but I'm going to talk to you about them. I implement Power Apps, and we write flows in Power Automate all the time. I love Power BI, but I'm learning it on my own. I have these really cool books because I am also a student learner. I love learning, and I love learning new things, and Power BI is like my new fun thing I've been diving into. And Power Virtual Agents are really cool. So what's really cool about the Power Platform, and I'm going to just start these little animations, is that everything in the Power Platform can be done by not a technologically minded person. I have a background in marketing. I have a background on the business side before I moved over to Dynamics and Power Platform. I am not a developer. I do not write code. I will never write code. And I am able to implement some really slick apps with some really cool automation just by using this platform. It's very fun. So in this kind of animation that's happening here, I didn't want to take my chances with a live demo with such short time and internet connectivity and all that, but this is building a Power Up. This is an app that you can build that allows people in your organization to interact with it. So there's 3 different versions. There's model-driven canvas and portals, and I know you're going to do deep dives in this coming up. So you'll learn all about that. What you're seeing right now is a model-driven app, and it's no code. You can implement low code if you want. When you get into things like portals, there's a little bit more technological knowledge you'll need, and you'll need to know like Liquid and some code. But model-driven apps, no code. Canvas apps, low code. And just look at this, it's all drag and drop interface. All I'm doing here is selecting a table and then picking which components of that table that I want to show up in my app. It's really cool. It really enhances user experience, and it really encourages user adoption of the technology that you're implementing. So I love Power Apps. They're my favorite thing out of the Power Platform. Power Automate is my close second favorite. So Power Automate is an awesome way. I like the, yeah, Power Automate. So Power Automate is the way that you can automate manual tasks. And the flow I have here in the screenshot is one that I wrote using a WordPress form solution. It's Gravity Forms. So when a form is submitted and there's a file attached to that form, I want to move it to a specific SharePoint library, which is cool, right? Because before, maybe you're filling out a form, the file is submitted, it goes to someone's email. Someone opens the email, whoever's managing it. They save the file locally, or they save the file to the SharePoint, and they move it to the folder. So you can take away a lot of those manual steps that you don't need to do and automate everything. It's so cool. It allows you to connect to multiple systems. I'll talk a little bit more about connectors if I have enough time, but connectors are these really cool things that you can use to kind of enhance everything that you can do in Power Automate. It lets you reach out to 602 different services and just create fun little webs like this. So I put in here on the last little bullet point, there's no code will get you started, but you're probably going to need a developer, or at least somebody who knows how to write OData queries and write expressions to help you take it to the next level. So I can write some really cool flows in Power Automate, but then I ping Nick, my husband, to help me with the OData queries and the expressions in there. So it's okay if you need help with that stuff too. So next is Power BI. So like I said, I'm really starting to dive into Power BI. I'm having a lot of fun building really cool reports. And what's neat about this is that there are so many different data sources that you can pull together in Power BI. Everyone's favorite, Excel. Every company has Excel somewhere. Dataverse, SQL Server, so you can pull in all of your on-prem stuff, text or CSV files, OData feeds, Power BI sets, data flows. You can take all of these things and put them in one dashboard experience, because not everybody has everything integrated, right? In fact, most people don't have everything integrated. And a dashboarding experience like Power BI will let the right people in your right organization drill down to check out the analytics and make really smart business decisions, which is really cool. And, ooh, going to Power Virtual Agents. So Power Virtual Agents are really neat. I have only dabbled in Power Virtual Agents, but it's basically your chatbot, and it's no code. I built this one, and I am not a technical person, and I built this. It's very cool. You can select from a list of supported languages. Just keep in mind you can't change that. So once you set your language for your bot, that's your language for your bot. You can rebuild it using different languages, but I think it's really cool that it supports so many right now. It lets users have conversations and take actions. I think just this week, they allowed Power Virtual Agents to be embedded in your portals, which is neat. So portals, again, are with Power Apps. So you can have a customer-facing portal and have a bot there talking to your customer and taking care of so much stuff when you don't even need a person there. It's pretty neat. And we're not putting people out of work. We're just giving them better things to do with their time, right? Because nobody wants to automate these things. It's so nice. How am I doing on time? All right. So now we're going to talk about other fun parts of the platform. Dataverse. Dataverse is like the glue of it all. It's the skeleton of the whole Power Platform. That's what makes all of this work. If you've been around for a little bit, it used to be called the Common Data Service. I think, Lola, you said we need to learn and unlearn, and Power Platform is going to make you learn and unlearn, because Microsoft absolutely loves changing names, changing functionality, rolling out new functionality, taking things that used to be custom and making it out of the box. So you will always have an opportunity to learn and unlearn. It's a perfect platform for that. I also have a passion for learning, so I've had a blast with this stuff. Sometimes it's a little frustrating that they rename things, but it's really neat to learn all the new things that come out with the release waves. The second thing I have on here are connectors. So connectors are just wrappers on APIs. Right now there's 602. That's 602 different services that you can extend the Power Platform with by building flows. It's so exciting. So that's some of the screenshot up top. That's just a small snapshot of some of the services. And we're talking email marketing. We're talking things like Trello boards or Jira. Like, you can go so far with the Power Platform just using things like connectors in there. And then AI Builder, which is the screenshot at the bottom. AI Builder is so neat. You can infuse AI into any of the applications we've talked about today using AI Builder and cognitive services. So there's all these models in this screenshot, which you probably can't see very well, which you use. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to train the model. It's just there for you. And there's really cool stuff you can do. We actually just had our Philadelphia chapter meeting, I think last week, and Kylie Kaiser, who is also Business Applications MVP, walked through an example of using the form processing model in AI, and it was so neat. She was literally handwriting forms, scanning them in, and build a Canvas app. She did it live. It took about 10 minutes for her to build this app, apply this model, and have these forms automatically scanned, put into an app, and then in a Dataverse database. It was so cool. So feel free to check that out too. So what can you do with all this? I know we're running through this fast, but you can build apps for your organization. You can automate manual tasks. You can integrate AI and cognitive services. You can integrate many services into one platform. Help companies make better decisions. Give employees more time in their day. And most importantly, you're going to increase overall happiness, which is awesome. And I have a ton of resources here because I like learning too, and I like sharing what I've learned. And everything on the left is on Microsoft Learn. Microsoft Learn is a fantastic place for you to learn new things. It's a great place to study for exams, like Lola was talking about taking all the exams. This is a wonderful place to start if you're trying to learn for any of that, or if you want to learn something new. On the right-hand side, I put some community places. Foyin was saying that we're both on the advisory board of Dynamics user groups, so I put the link to communities. There's a Power Platform community there, and customer engagement. Customer engagement is CRM. They're like newer communities, so if you post things there, Foyin and I will help you out as well as a few others. I also have a link to the Power Platform local user groups. If you click on this link, and again, I'll make sure you get the link somehow, it will show you the closest user group to where you are. But keep in mind, we're living in a COVID world. You can attend any one you want, anywhere in the world, at any topic that you're interested in, and any speaker you want. Then I have my shameless self-promotion links here. Connectorreview.com. That's something that Nick and I at Reenhanced have created. We've taken all 602 connectors and we've tagged them based on use case. Microsoft documentation is really good for connectors as well. We actually just built that because we needed it, right? We wanted to look for something that had email marketing, but there was no way to find email marketing in connectors unless something was called email marketing, which is not. So that's free. You can check it out. My YouTube videos, I did a Flow 101 overview. So if you're new to Power Platform and you want to learn more about Power Automate, because it's so cool, you can check those out. And my website is crmheidi.com. And I think I did it. Did I make it, Foyin? 25 minutes on the Power Platform. I am more than happy to answer any questions you had. I know I went through that super fast, but I also know you're getting a deep dive in all 4 parts of the Power Platform over the next month or so.
Yeah.
So hopefully that got you excited for the start.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Heidi. Thank you so much. Fantastic. I love the customer stories, right? Like literally can't start to imagine the number of hours that are spent on Excel sheets, right? And how Power Automate and Power Apps can help with all of that. Yes, thank you for the links. All right, so everyone, the links are in the chat window. Please connect. I'm personally going to look at the connector review. I've never heard of it. Thank you so much. It's going to be so helpful because it'll give us insights into all of the connectors that are available, which is really good. Then when you have a problem, you know that, yes, there's something that can solve this. So I'm going to take a look at that.
And if I missed a tag, you can add your own tags to it too. It's fun.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. And a lot of thank yous in the chat window. So before we take the Q&A, I would just like to know that, so ID session kind of leads us to what we are going to start off in February. which is our tech deep dive. We're going to start our tech deep dive sessions in February. We have over 250 registrations, 250 registrations, which is like fantastic. Our mentors, community members have been pushing the links on their handles. We'll also drop this image and the registration links in the chat window. So if you know anyone who would like to join us for any of these sessions, we have Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, Power Virtual Agent, Azure, AI, and mixed reality, the modern workplace, which is Microsoft 365. Then we have 2 new tracks, UI, UX, and security. And I'm going to start all of this in February, and I'm super excited. Our mentors are excited. They're all women. All of our mentors are women, and they're so passionate about making this difference and helping that young lady out there who wants to learn. So we got a lot of pushback, right? Men were like, oh, what about the guys? We want to come. Are you saying we can't come? So we said, okay, it's fine. You can come as long as you're happy to be in a class full of girls, right? It's okay.
Oh, they have to put on their skirts.
So we're like, it's fine, you can come, because they keep going. So I'm on this old school group, and the guys keep protesting that, oh, you do things only for the women. You know, these women are going to marry the men. They're going to marry these boys. You have to also consider them. You don't want the women becoming the head of the home. And I'm like, oh, no. Don't take this too far. Don't take this too far. It's okay. So the guys are welcome. So that's what, so thank you so much. So I hope the examples that Heidi has given us has kind of got you interested in the Power Platform. Power Platform is amazing, and I don't want to start to go into that because we're also passionate about it, right? So come join us and let's learn together. Thank you so much. So it's time for our questions and answers. Do you have any questions for LA, for Heidi about the about anything, you know, we've spoken about? Please feel free to raise your hand.